I am taking a step back. That is how we're going to open the video. I just kind of want to get the TLDR out there. I'll give you a quick overview. My love, or maybe not my love, but my tolerance for the Borderlands series is probably at the lowest it has been. And I am now at a point where I don't want to feel trapped. And I also don't want to keep repeating the same things over and over again. I don't enjoy complaining about the same things over and over again. And I'm at the point where playing Borderlands feels like a 9 to 5. And it has become apparent to me that the direction the franchise is going in is not the direction I want it to go in. But it's not going to change. And so long as the machine is broken, I don't want to be a cog in it for much longer. I just kind of want to let you guys know where I've been at with the franchise on the channel as a whole, and where I'm going to be at. And there will also be some important updates regarding Borderlands Online, the Redux mod, and I'm also just going to be very honest about my relationship with 2K and Gearbox and tell you where I'm going from here. So I guess I'll open by not dragging it out too much and just telling you that I'm not stepping away permanently from Borderlands. I don't want to be one of those people who says they're quitting and then they come back and it's just like, well, why did you say that to begin with? Rather, what I want to tell you guys is that I'm taking, in the great words of my idol Vinylic Puma, a sort of partial hiatus. In the sense that I am going to greatly scale back the amount of time I spend in the franchise, the amount of time I spend talking about it, the amount of exposure I give it on my social platforms, and also it's going to relate to how much of it you see on the channel. In fact, with me kind of stopping Borderlands content, I will, or rather scaling it back, you will not see much of me at all on YouTube, and for good reason, so I'll talk about that as well. So I'll get my complaints out of the way now, why I feel this way. It's been a long time coming, and you know, if you've been watching the channel, you know for a long time that I've covered less and less and less of Borderlands 4's new stuff they add, and again, for great reason. So in a nutshell, and I'm just going to be brutally honest here, I hate where the franchise is at. I hate the mentality that the developers have with the changes they make, the content they release, and better yet, the content they don't. Above all of that, I hate 2K games, and I think they are killing this franchise. Unfortunately, 2K is never going to let go of Borderlands because they have part ownership of it. It is as much theirs as it is Gearbox's, and it makes them a ton of money. They are not going to let go. I feel like if I dislike the direction that this series is going in, that's one thing. If I can change it, it's another. And I can't. I just can't. When I made the Borderlands 3 Redux mod and the Wonderlands Redux mod, the goal, aside from just making something cool, was to show the developers that it is as easy as just listening to what people want. While game development is by no stretch of the imagination easy and completely differs from studio to studio, workplace to workplace, I do believe there is some truth in the statement, the customer is always right. While it's not always true, you can use it as a guideline to make the right decisions. And I feel like there has been a consistent pattern with the franchise where a game releases, it is absent of 50% of what the players do want, and then over the post-launch period, 10% of what we do want is added back to the game. And it starts to look like things are looking up, and, you know, there is a lot of people who say, well, this one didn't really hit for me, but then there's people who say, well, actually, they made a ton of improvements. You know, Borderlands 3 ended with a lot of endgame content, and you're like, well, yeah, but look how it was for most of its life cycle. I mean, how long did it take to make cartels permanent, right? So, as I was saying, games release, they have less of what we do want, and then over time, some of that is added back, and you're like, okay, well, that's great. And then the next game will come out and it will have a little more that we do want, but still a lot of what we don't want. And then to fix that, it takes super long. 6 months later, it gets fixed, but by 6 months later, half the player base has already left. And you just think to yourself, oh my lord, how long is this going to go on for? I mean, Wonderlands purposely, they prevented bosses from respawning, which is an integral part of the franchise. And I'm standing there as a developer going like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is a core part of your franchise. And whether you're trying something new or not with this IP, this is what people come to expect from a game, which is a Borderlands game. And then I have 2K in my ear saying, well, actually, it's not a Borderlands game. It's its own IP. It's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And it's like, well, brother, you've got Brick on the cover. So it's really not, is it? You know, you're just deflecting criticism of your game and using that it's a new IP as a shield. So that kind of highlights that, right? Is you go forward and somehow, even though we're now 3 games ahead of a game which already made a mistake, we're now making even more mistakes, and it just feels like a never-ending circle of insanity. Videos get made talking about problems with the game, and somehow those same problems get made over and over and over again. If there is a problem with a character that is fundamentally bad, fundamentally broken, instead of fixing the issues in creative ways, they opt for stat adjustments and stat sticks, which ultimately don't fix the issue, but then people have the perception that the issue was fixed, and then there becomes this infighting within the community over something which shouldn't be a problem. And somehow you can have very, very direct conversations with developers, like I did with a developer, over what the community wants from Pearlescence. You can make mods which have a combined total of 1 million plus impressions, where you add pearls yourself, you do it right, the community likes the implementation, they like the rarity, they like the uniqueness, and then when you finally do bring back pearls after having to be pretty much begged for it for over 5 years, you sabotage the rarity by giving one out 100% of the time on the first appearance of them, and making most of them awful, and then making them world drop, but making them almost as common as a legendary. Like, these things to me just contribute to this overall feeling of depression. It is borderline depressing for me to play this game at this point, and this franchise at this point. All of this to say, with the actual state of Borderlands 4, it feels like I am playing a game on a 9-to-5 basis now. I'm not going to play this revisionism stuff and tell you that all of a sudden the game that released was bad, the story was bad. I had a great time with Borderlands 4 launch, but it suffers from the classic Gearbox curse of just bad post-launch, or lack thereof post-launch when the game even drops. That is a big issue for me, and I don't want to do it forever. This does not mean that I am not going to cover Borderlands 4. September, for example, I will be covering Borderlands 4, mostly on Mobalytics, which I'll talk about in a second, but also on the channel. Again, this isn't a video telling you that I'm never going to cover Borderlands 4. Again, it's not me saying I won't cover Wonderlands 2 when it comes out, or anything else from them, because I don't hate Borderlands. I love this franchise. I've got a really, really deep passion for it. This video is just to tell you what's been going on, both in my mind and even before launch with this game. All of these kind of like death by 1,000 cuts things that have led up to this decision of just taking a step back. One of the greatest things that came out of Borderlands 4 is my relationship with Mobalytics. For those of you who aren't aware, I am a journalist now, which feels odd to say, but I think I've written close to 100 pieces for them now, and I've taken on a deeper role with Mobalytics as one of their sort of official writers now, and I've been covering a lot of stuff, not just Borderlands, and this has been extremely fulfilling for me, and it's a career path I want to pursue. I really, really have been enjoying it, and I want to continue chasing it, which is also why there has been less videos on the channel. I'm putting a lot more time into that work and a lot less time into what doesn't make me happy, which I've just been over, right? So going forward, I am looking to do a lot more work for MOBA. There's a lot of opportunities coming up, and I intend on pursuing them to the best of my ability. So, yeah, hopefully you guys can wish me well on that and support me if you see my posts on Twitter that are linking my reviews, articles, so on and so forth. And outside of that, it's not just journalism I'm focusing on. Unfortunately, this year, I've had a lot of issues in my family with illness, and through that, I found boxing. And boxing has really given me something to focus on, a lot of structure, and it just feels good. And I really want to pursue that more as well. And I want to focus on boxing because it has truly helped me, and I think it can help you as well, whether you're starting it for fitness, mental clarity, or just to gain confidence. I think it can help you out a lot. And then finally, I guess I will bring this video to a close by talking about some cooler stuff. So I've been focusing a lot more on indie dev. I have a couple of projects in development right now. One of them is Sal's Big Day, which is already out. You can go and play that. And I am posting these to my itch.io. Maybe you'll see them on Steam eventually as well, I'm not too sure. And I'm also posting a lot of game dev stuff and not Borderlands games on my second channel, EpicNNG. So if you want to support me, I'd really appreciate just leaving a like over there. I know a lot of people ask me often, how do you get into game dev or modding? And you know, what do I enjoy outside of Borderlands? Well, I'm posting a lot of it there. So if you want to go and see that, you know where to find it. So a lot of my focus going forward will be more on indie dev. And I guess I will wrap this up by talking about the two most important things that you'll probably want to know if you're a fan of my work. Number one, the Redux mod for Borderlands 4 is cancelled. It will not happen. If it does happen, it is because something significant about the game has changed. As it stands right now, modding is still basically not there, at least from what I would want. And my passion to make a mod for the game is just down. When I made the Redux mod for Wonderlands, I lost so much money because the mod consumed me. It took up more of my day than it should have. I couldn't sleep without thinking of the mod. It consumed my entire being, and I lost money because I wasn't working. I was just working on that mod. And so if it's going to happen for Borderlands 4, I don't know what it looks like, but as of right now, it's cancelled. And I'm really sorry to break that news. And finally, Borderlands Online. It is not cancelled, and I don't intend to disappoint, but I can't make any promises about whether it will or will not come out. But all I will say is that if it does come out, I really hope you enjoy it, and thank you for all of the support that has led up to that point, because it's crazy. You know, starting out back in BL3, I'd never modded a game before. I decided to become a modder. And now, fast forward all these years later, I'm the author of arguably the largest and most popular modern-day Borderlands mod of all time. And arguably, you could say the most mainstream mod of all time. And we're making history. So that's pretty crazy. But in summary, I don't want to complain over and over and over about the game. I want to take a step back. I'm not committing to staying away, but I'm also not committing to staying. I am at a point where if there is a future for me with the franchise that looks like a fully addicted on top of everything, then there needs to be change. There needs to be change at Gearbox, and there needs to be change at 2K. I have no intent of forming a buddy-buddy relationship with 2K until we sit on a call, hash everything out, and evaluate our relationship as business partners, because it hasn't been great. So in summary, I am really sorry for taking up a lot of your time. I'm assuming you've got this on while you're playing something in the background, so whatever it is, I hope you're having a good time with it. And again, I just want to reiterate that this isn't me quitting the Borderlands franchise or quitting covering it. It's just me telling you that the lack of coverage I've had recently has been for a reason, and going forward, the lack of coverage that I give the game is for a reason. But my love has not faded. I love the franchise. I would love to see it prosper, and I felt like that's a good note to end on. So thank you guys for watching this, and I'll see you down the road.